you as we have the chairman of the Mecklenburg County Republican Party sitting down with us or joining us via satellite interview here. We appreciate it. Kyle, thank you so much for your time. This is Mr. Kyle Kirby. Kyle, last night, I'm sure you watched the Charlotte City Council meeting because, of course, we got your release about the $3.4 million that they talked about for the public relations campaign that they want to undertake, right, to promote the city's light rail system. And, you know, there is an obvious issue, an elephant in the room. We've had crime issues recent of the last couple of days, another stabbing. Obviously, no one died like what happened in August with that horrific stabbing with Irina Zarutska. But let's just open up the floor to you, Mr. Kirby. Reading your statement here from the Mecklenburg County GOP, it seems like you guys want this money to be better spent. Talk about what your perspective is in this matter.
Well, first of all, I have to start off by saying this is absolutely not satire, because the the City of Charlotte City Council just allocated $3.4 million not to go to security, but instead to go to a PR firm to pay to have the perception of the light rail changed in the minds of Charlotteans. So where on earth, what kind of extraterrestrial planet are we living on where we don't address the actual problem, but instead we decide to hire a PR firm to change the perceptions? It sounds like the Charlotte City Council wants people to sit down and shut up about the safety issues and just enjoy the fact that we have a light rail.
Yeah, it is very interesting, especially because, it was put up on the ballot just less than or more than a month ago now. And people, not overwhelmingly, but voted for this infrastructure or the sales tax, right, to go forward. So it is interesting. Obviously, there was a majority in favor for it, that this is the way that things are going. There's been numerous issues with council, last tenure, with transparency issues. At least they're not hiding this, but I guess that's all that you can say in terms of that, right? I mean,
yeah.
Why would they be thinking about this, right now?
It's befuddling. I have no idea. I mean, you look at $3.4 million and what that could actually do. So that could get us a police officer on every rail car. That could get us fencing around the platforms to ensure people that are not ticketed don't get in there. It could have prevented the death of Irina Zarutska, and it could have prevented the stabbing that just occurred. I mean, what on earth are we doing with the taxpayers' money if we're not protecting them first and foremost? I mean, it's absolutely amazing. It's like the city council wants to just pull the wool over everyone's eyes and act like none of these horrific crimes are happening. None of this violence that's going on in the CAT system is going on. Instead, we're deciding to spend $3.4 million on a PR firm to improve the perception of Charlotteans. Again, it's do as I say and sit down and shut up, and we don't want to hear any complaints from the taxpayers about safety. We don't want to hear any complaints about the understaffing of the security officers. We don't want to hear any complaints about the lack of security at the platforms. But what we're going to do is we're going to engage in a great public relations, social media, television, radio advertisement to let you know how good and safe this thing really is, when in reality it's not safe at all. People are dying, Irina Zarutska, and people are getting seriously injured. The stabbing that just happened the other night. I mean, I'm talking about a good Samaritan that was on the light rail that was protecting elderly folks from a drunken person that was accosting others on this system, and he got stabbed in the chest for standing up and trying to protect other people. Where is the policing? Where are our priorities in Charlotte? I tell you, it's not a public relations perception we have in Charlotte. It's a leadership problem that we have in Charlotte.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Kirby, because, we just watched immigration enforcement and the operations here in Charlotte. And, I'm sure you saw the president talk just a couple of days ago over the weekend about this recent stabbing. Even Mr. Gregory Bovino commenting about, Governor Josh Stein picking certain individuals over the safety of North Carolina. Would you say, in your estimation, that enforcement needs to come back? Not that they have left the area, but they need to maybe show force again again? Because that's been a discussion of topic. We've talked to individuals in different communities around Charlotte as well about there being a fear attached to that. But in your estimation, what would be the next step here?
Well, I certainly would welcome the return of DHS and Immigration and Border Patrol here in Charlotte, because if we had a police force and a sheriff's department that was cooperating with Homeland Security, there's a very good chance that this particular stabbing would not have happened. And here's the reason why, is as you reported on the other day, one of your reporters reported on the other day, this individual had an incident on Katz property where he was already carrying a concealed weapon, a knife, and was banned from Katz property. Now, had that turned into an arrest and a police report, and the police and the sheriff's department were cooperating with Homeland Security, that could have been one of the people that was picked up and removed off the streets, and we would not be talking about this stabbing going on. But instead of cooperating with the Border Patrol, the city council once again decided to take taxpayer money and allocate $100,000 to people that were, quote, impacted by the presence of Border Patrol. And other organizations, civic organizations in Charlotte, the county commission and CMS issue statements to embolden people not to participate in the enforcement of federal immigration laws. They tell people basically to resist, blow whistles, do all kinds of things to stop the Immigration and Border Patrol from doing their job, which is to take people off of the streets that skipped the legal process to be here in the first place. And all I can say is, based off of WCNC's reporting with that incident involving the same person that is the perpetrator of this crime, had we had a more cooperative police department and sheriff's department here in Charlotte, there's a good chance that this would not have happened. Now, one other point that I do want to make is the light rail system is a closed circuit system. That means once you get onto the train, you're in there. So it is possible for us as a city to control every ounce of crime or problems that go on in that system as a closed system. It's not like you can get off in between stations, and it's not like you should even be able to get on the platform in the first place if you don't have a ticket. So what this tells me is that even though taxpayers approved for the expansion of the light rail system, the city of Charlotte and Katz overall is still not taking the safety of these individuals seriously, because as a closed system, it is 100% possible for us to stop all crime on the light rail system.
I mean, you're right. It happens on the L in Chicago. It happens in New York. You can't get through parts of the subway system without having a valid ticket. So you make a great point. I do have to ask, because we talked about the immigration enforcement, Mr. Kirby, and we did ask this. I know specifically one of our reporters did ask DHS this, and we haven't gotten any response yet. So I don't want to ask you specifically, because I'm sure you aren't going to have the response. But I guess that's our question is, how did a man like this, Mr. Solorzano, not get swept up in these immigration enforcement operations? Because, as we reported on, there were, operators of businesses, employees of other businesses that were here legally. How did that happen? Because it seems like, after the effect, right, people are upset that this did happen, but, Border Patrol was here. So was it a miscommunication with law enforcement? What do you think happened?
Well, so there's a couple things going on. First of all, like I mentioned, we don't have good cooperation between CMPD and the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Department and DHS. Secondly, if somebody is in this country illegally and has not gone through the proper channels, the government does not know that they're here in the first place. So all Border Patrol can actually do is go around and ask people to see their paperwork. And if they're able to show them a ID, a passport, proper documentation, they move on. If they don't have that proper paperwork, then they have to look into that individual further. Again, we lived through 4 years, 20 million people coming across President Biden's border while it was an open border policy, and we frankly don't know who is in this country right now. So just like this fellow was in the country without the knowledge of Border Patrol or DHS and then committed a violent crime, Who's to say that some of those people that came across that border, him being one of those during that 4-year period, are not also going to commit violent crimes? They shouldn't be here in the first place. If they're not supposed to be here in the first place, I don't care how violent or nonviolent the crime is. We as Charlotteans, as North Carolinians, and as U.S. citizens have enough crime to deal with from our own citizens, and should not be having to put up with the rest of the world's individuals who are here illegally, supplementing and causing additional crimes on top of what we already have to deal with, and taxing our jails, our school systems, and our legal systems.
That's a great point. You know, as DHS pointed out, that Mr. Solorzano was picked up in Florida and New Jersey on prior offenses in recent years. So, yeah, just to back up some of those claims, we do have information, obviously, on his criminal history there. I did want to ask you, too, the Mecklenburg County Sheriff did talk a little bit about, you know, what you're speaking on. And he was discussing about resources, right, funding that they need to be able to detain more individuals like this, that they are asking for more funding. And specifically, I don't think he asked for the federal government, because that wouldn't necessarily come from that pot. But what could Mecklenburg County, you know, the department itself as a whole do when they are asking for more resources to hold individuals like this, when they're saying that they don't have those type of resources? Mr. Kirby, what should they do, I guess?
Well, the first thing we could do is not spend $3.4 million on a PR campaign and maybe give that money to the sheriff to hold dangerous criminals in the jail like we should be doing in the first place, and not have to tax the legislature to encourage the sheriff and magistrates and judges in Mecklenburg County to actually do their job and not allow violent criminals like DeCarlos Brown and Oscar Solorzano to walk out of jails and be able to commit crimes on the street. I know that's not necessarily the case with Oscar Solorzano, but it is the case with DeCarlos Brown. And I wonder to myself, had Irina's Law, House Bill 307, I believe it was, not been recently passed, would he also be right back out on the street like DeCarlos Brown was, ready to commit another crime? Great
point. And a great question. Unfortunately, we'll never know. So I guess it's been on the books for a week, and we'll see where it goes. Mr. Kirby, anything else I didn't ask you wanted to make clear or talk about at all?
Absolutely. A couple points I'd like to make real quick. Number one, we need a police officer on every single rail car. That's going to stop all these criminals. It's going to stop all this violence, because it's an enclosed system. Number two, we need a barricade around the platform, because that's going to stop people from getting on the platform that don't need to be on the platform. And number three, we don't need to be spending $3.4 million on a PR campaign. We should be giving it to the sheriff and other people to be able to keep our people on the streets safe from people that shouldn't be here in the first place. And lastly, we should be cooperating with the federal government when they have to take up the slack, because our local county and city leaders are refusing to do their primary job, which is to keep people in the city of Charlotte and Mecklenburg County safe.
Mr. Kyle Kirby, we thank you so much for your time. Chairman of the Mecklenburg County Republican Party. Sir, thank you so much again for sitting down with us. Merry Christmas to you and your family, and be safe out here.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, folks, we're going to take a 2-minute break. We'll be back right after this.